from the state of Georgia, and I'm here on behalf of the Coalition for Usher Syndrome Research to respectfully request this committee encourage NIH funding of $20 million for fiscal year 2014 to promote more research into Usher syndrome. Usher syndrome is the #1 cause of deaf blindness. Imagine sitting here in this room, unable to hear my words and unable to see me. Silence and darkness. In the United States, it is estimated that about 45,000 people have this rare genetic disorder. 2 of them are my children, Corey and Joni Dorothy. Corey and Joni were born early, and before they were released from the hospital, they were given a newborn hearing screening. At that time, we were told that they were both profoundly deaf. As we struggled to understand what this meant, I realized that they would never be able to hear me say, "I love you," and I would never hear those sweet words from their lips. The sounds of our life were suddenly silenced. But our heartache changed to hope when we found out about the cochlear implant. By the time they were 3 years old, we realized that they could be mainstreamed, go on through high school and even college, just like their peers. Although they'd always have to work a little harder, the sounds of opportunity returned to our lives. And I remember my husband saying to me at that time, "At least they're not blind." About a year ago, all that changed. After Joni entered a darkened hallway and asked me where the bathroom was, when the door was literally 4 feet in front of her, we knew we had a problem. Testing confirmed what we by then already knew. Joni had type 1 Usher syndrome. Reading the description of type 1 Usher was like reading her biography. Born profoundly deaf, delayed development, especially walking, balance issues, and loss of night vision beginning around 10. What would follow would be loss of peripheral vision, leading to tunnel vision, and eventually blindness. With no intervention, my 12-year-old daughter will be blind by 20. And although my son currently has less vision issues, testing confirms he also has Usher. He may retain some of his vision into his 30s. Usher is a roller coaster ride of loss, grief, adjustment, and loss again that never ends, as one more setback always lies around the corner. Like you, my hopes and dreams for my children have always been that they grow up happy, attend college, get meaningful jobs, and give back to their community. But the reality we are facing is that 8 out of 10 deaf-blind people are unemployed, not to mention the physical and emotional hardships, the stereotypes of being deaf-blind, the loss of productivity and ability to do a job, ultimate depression, and perhaps even suicide. And add to that the reality that our country spends an estimated $27 billion annually in care and support services for people with major visual disorders, not to mention the costs associated with hearing impairment. Those are statistics. People with Usher aren't. The Coalition for Usher Syndrome Research has begun bringing Usher people together with brilliant researchers who are working on developing treatments every day. But we cannot find a cure for the tens of thousands who have Usher syndrome without federal support. We believe that $20 million this year and an increase of that amount over the next several years would lead to viable treatments for those with Usher syndrome within a decade. We are asking you to supply this last critical resource to help us find a cure. When you review the report on categorical spending by NIH, Usher syndrome is not even listed. Rare diseases with similar incident rates average around $50 million annually. These investments have resulted in significant discoveries for these diseases, and there is no reason to believe that we can't see the same results or better for Usher. The researchers are there waiting to discover what we only dare dream of, an opportunity to allow deaf children and adults who are going blind a chance to see. I will leave you with the words of Helen Keller. It is a terrible thing to see, but have no vision. I hope that this committee will have the vision to see the opportunities before them. Together we can find a way to end deaf blindness. I thank you on behalf of all those with Usher syndrome, their families, and most important to me, my children, Corey and Joni. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you very much for this very stirring percentage of hearing do they get?
They still have what's considered a mild to moderate hearing loss. It's more difficult in some environments than other, but they're mainstream, they're on grade. They actually get pretty much all A's in normal school with no additional assistance. So the cochlear implant has pretty much minimized any effects that the loss of hearing has. Loss of sight is a different issue.
My father lost his sight through macular degeneration, and but in the early stages, there are certain exercises that you can do to prolong losing your sight. Are there similar exercises that your children can do?
No, there are not. There are things you can try to do. There is some research that shows vitamin A in very high doses may allow vision to last a little bit longer. Those researchers have not proven that's true in Usher type 1 patients, but it has been successful with adult RP patients. So we are doing it and hopeful that that might make a difference, but that's may give them a few more years of sight, but that's it.
Just would say thank you for your courage in being here and courage of you and your children. And my hope is that the research on the sight issue can move at a pace that allows some opportunity for